Welcome in, my crafty friends. I'm making a pink Let It Snow wreath. I started out by cutting light pink, dark pink, and burgundy poly burlap mesh into 10 by 10 squares. I will have full quantities of each color listed at the end. Now we are going to make the rose petal. You take a 10 by 10 inch piece of mesh, turn it into a diamond shape, fold the top corner to the bottom corner, measure up 3 inches from the bottom point, gather and band. And that's all there is to it for a rose petal. We're going to do that with the light pink also. 3 inches up, gather in the center, and put an elastic on it. Now we're going to start placing the petals on this 12-inch wire frame. I am placing a dark pink rose petal on each crossbar, and I am wrapping it around the first 2 bars 1 and 2, and I am wrapping the zip ties in an X pattern to secure the petals to the wreath so that they do not flop down or up. We have a slight overlap on the petals, and that is perfectly fine. We want that. Now we are going to place the light pink rose petal in between the 2 dark pink petals. We are also applying these to bars 1 and 2. And as you're zip tying it, include the tips from the dark pink into the tie of the light pink. And don't forget to zigzag your 2 zip ties to hold it in place. And just place those all the way around the frame. Before we go any further on this wreath, we are going to add our plastic canvas mesh to the inside bar 4. Here you see me tracing it. I am tracing on the outside of bar 4, not the very inside, or your mesh will not attach properly to the center. Now we are going to attach the plastic canvas mesh to the frame. I usually place my frame upside down to attach so that my nubs are on the bottom and not the top. I attach it in a northeast-southwest position to start with, and then I put another zip tie in between all of those. And that is usually enough hold. Now we are going to make the rolled gerbra petal. You're going to do a 1.5 turn on each corner piece after you have taken your diamond shape and folded the top corner to the bottom corner. Just make sure that your rolls are even. Gather at the bottom without pulling your rolls in. And then you can put an elastic or a zip tie on. And then you can see where we'll be placing it on the frame. I'm just trying to get a count. You're going to place your zip tie an inch in from bar 4 on the plastic mesh. And you're going to do that all the way around where the two light pink join. So one more time on the rolled gerbra. Bring top corner to bottom corner from a diamond shape. Do 1.5 turns from each point down to the bottom point. Make sure your rolls are even and they line up. Gather in the center, being careful not to pull the outer portion of the rolls in to the center. And then put an elastic or a zip tie on. And you can cut off the tail, but leave about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. Now we are going to cut the burgundy and the light pink mesh to make our Liz petals. Now we are going to start making our Liz petals. Take a 10 by 10 square, turn it to a diamond, bring top corner to bottom corner, fold the bottom tip almost to the top, about a 1/2 inch short, then fold it in half completely. Then take that strip and fold it in half with your folded edges facing up. Then make your second piece and wrap the second piece around your first piece, leaving about a 1/2 inch gap, and then secure it with a zip tie. And your petal should measure about 5 to 5.5 inches. And then cut off the tail. Now, I'm going to place this on the wreath where I want it, which is 1 inch in from bar 4. But once I place this petal, I realize that the addition of light pink in the Liz petal, and then our center row will be light pink. I realized we need to take away the light pink from the outside. So now we are going to change out our mesh, bring in the dark pink, and cut 5 pieces of the dark pink. Now we are just making 5 more rose petals. Now, without taking any petals off, we are going to remove the pink rose petals and I'm going to hold on to them because I might be able to make another petal out of them. We're going to place our zip tie around bars 1 and 2 again. We're going to include the tips from the other 2 rose petals into the tie with this rose petal. Just gently lay your tips under the rolled gerbra, and I would recommend still doing the X pattern with your zip ties, although it will be a little tight. So a little chaotic maneuvering will be required. Now that that's done, we are back to our Liz petals. Take the top corner to the bottom corner, then fold that tip up to the folded edge about 1/2 inch below. Then fold it in half again, completely to the top. And then fold that in half, long ways. And attach the first piece around the second piece, or vice versa, depending on your colors. And then seal it with a zip tie and cut off the excess tail. Now we are going to finish placing the Liz petals. I am attaching the zip tie in the plastic canvas mesh 1 inch in from bar number 4. Now that the Liz petals are on the wreath, we're going to start making our center petal, which is going to be the lolly petal. I am going to use the rose petals that we took off earlier and convert them into lolly petals. To make the lolly petal, normally you would scrunch exactly the way you do for the rose petal, and then you just walk in your sides. Gather the wings and the center tail together and put a zip tie around it. Not too tight so that you can play with and form the petal the way you want it. And just make sure that they're all the same size. Now we are going to place the lolly petals in the center of the wreath. Right now I am just checking to see how many more I need to make. But I am going to go ahead and place these ones on. And we are placing these about 1.5 inches in from where we placed the Liz petals. Once I got the lolly petals on the wreath, I noticed that there was too much frame showing around the Liz petals in between the rolled gerbra petals. So what I had decided to do was take the dark pink, making another Liz petal, or in this case, a daisy chain petal. And I'm going to put the dark pink in the center of the burgundy and light pink Liz petal to add some extra coverage. That will also allow me to move the Liz petals in toward the center further, which will give better coverage and allow me to alternate the Liz petal, then a lolly petal, all the way around the center. Now that the wreath is finished, we're going to attach our sign. I am using a couple of pieces of floral wire. I'm going to feed it through the pre-made holes on the top and bottom of the sign. Make sure it's on there nice and tight. And then I'll feed the wire down through the plastic canvas mesh and twist it closed on the back. once I get it straight. Now I'm going to add pink and white glitter ribbon to the outside of all the petals. So I am measuring out 10 inches for each ribbon, and we will need 10 of each. Now I'm going to lay the pink and white in an X pattern, scrunch in the center, pull the tails all to one side, making sure they're even. And then I am adding a zip tie to where every rose piece attached to the frame. I am also going to angle cut my ribbon tails as I go, because I'm making opposite cuts for each set of ribbon ties.